Hello everyone, welcome to the Buzz the Prey Manga. Today we continue the latest Global Freeze chapter, rewritten and edited by me in English for a smooth reading experience. All visuals and story flow are personally edited to give you the best manga style storytelling. Support the original creator by checking the official manga. So let's dive right into the today's chapter.
Chapter 2460 won the essence of superpowers 1. Zhang Yi prefers to refer to the universe as the material world, because he clearly understands the origin of the apparent universe, and even more clearly understands that beneath the apparent universe, there exists an original true universe. The source of all power is the etheric energy infused by the powerful will of a higher cosmic dimension at the point of the Big Bang. Therefore, when we trace the origins of superpowers, flames, storms, thunder, and all the forces that exist in this material world, they are all ultimately one kind of power. Zhang Yi was teaching them and also reflecting on his own experiences. His gaze deepened, and his words were clearly beyond the ability level of most of the people below. They listened with a mixture of understanding and confusion, yet they listened with utmost seriousness. So, one day, after we have gone far down the path of superpowers, perhaps all the power will form the power of the most primitive fragments of ether. Whether it's Nun, fire-type abilities, or ice-type abilities, these concepts will all disappear. And when you reach this stage, you will be able to resonate with the entire material world. Your power will also reach unimaginable levels. Zhang Yi's voice resonated deeply with everyone. Their eyes revealed a look of bewilderment and longing. Is that a realm they can even imagine? At that moment, a sudden voice broke the silence of the scene. Fatty Sue, sitting in the front row, suddenly had a flash of inspiration. He felt he had grasped the concept and raised his hand, saying, "Dad, I understand. For example, no matter what we eat, it will eventually turn into poop in the toilet. So the essence of food is actually..." Before he could utter the last two words, Zhang Yi's sharp glare silenced him. Although what you said was a bit vulgar, that's roughly the idea. Some people possess powerful superpowers as if they were eating abalone, sea cucumber, shark fin, and fish maw. Others have ordinary superpowers as if they were just plain rice. But ultimately, they all lead to the same destination. Zhang Yi met Su Pengzi's expectant gaze again. It was obvious that the fat man wanted Zhang Yi to support his theory about food and excrement. Zhang Yi couldn't help but feel disgusted. Luckily, breakfast had been over for a long time, otherwise he really wanted to hit someone. It's the energy your body needs. No matter what you eat, it will eventually be converted into the energy your body needs. But clearly, people prefer to eat abalone, sea cucumber, shark fin, and fish maw. It's like knowing that in the final stage of the Inhumans, all power will be the most primal etheric power. But who wouldn't want to choose a more powerful ability on their path to growth? Lu Dehai suddenly stopped writing and said excitedly, "Teacher, do you mean that even those of us with less powerful abilities have the chance to become very strong in the future? Opportunities will always be there. It's just that your path will be more difficult than that of ordinary people. The paths to cultivating superpowers may differ, but they all lead to the same goal, like rivers flowing into the sea." In fact, looking back now, Zhang Yi's initial spatial ability was almost useless in combat. For a considerable period of time, he still relied on firearms in his fighting. Later, he devoured a large number of other Inhumans' ether fragments, allowing him to grow stronger and gradually become one of the world's top Inhumans. As for the complete transformation, it probably started after Tianyu Palace. The baptism of the spiritual ocean truly accelerated his growth by leaps and bounds. In class, Zhang Yi continued to explain his understanding of superpowers, how to meditate, and how to become stronger through meditation. This also includes his interpretation of Wang Yangming's The Philosophy of Mind. The philosophy of mind is a meditation method created by humankind itself, and it is extremely valuable. Those below listened, some understood, some didn't. But even this half-awake, half-asleep state was 1,000 times better than groping blindly in the past. Everyone has their own insights, and they are all different. But as they cultivated in this haphazard way, They discovered that their control over their superpowers was becoming stronger and stronger, and their superpower index was also rapidly increasing. In the blink of an eye, half a year has quietly passed. Since Zhang Yi initiated the comprehensive cultivation plan, the power of supernatural beings in the entire Huaxiu kingdom has spread rapidly, like wildfire. Tianhai City, in particular, has almost become a sacred place for cultivation in the new era. This place boasts the richest resources, and with Zhang Yi's constantly improving meditation system, everyone's strength is increasing at an astonishing rate. The outside world has been in turmoil for the past 6 months. Extraordinary groups and organizations in various countries are undergoing transformations, breaking through constraints and entering new phases. For the countries that participated in the lunar mission, even receiving just 10% of the supplies from Zhang Yi was a huge treasure. Even so, Tianhai City's progress is still unique. Their rate of improvement has far exceeded the world average. After all, Zhang Yiguang allocated more than 10% of the lunar resources to his core personnel, such as Zhou Ke, Fatty Su, and Uncle Yu. Almost every day, people in Tianhai City break through the barrier of supernatural abilities. The core driving force behind all of this is still the man who sits atop the Huaxiu kingdom, Zhang Yi. In just 6 months, his superpower index has climbed from 50,000 points to 52,000 points. This improvement, which may seem to be only 2,000, actually represents a huge leap from quantitative change to qualitative change. If it were someone from another ancient civilization, let alone 2,000 points, it would take them several years or even decades to stabilize their night level. So, what if Sheng Lu? Despite possessing the resources of the entire Wulwan Empire, his ability index is only 55,000 points. Extraordinary beings cannot absorb energy indefinitely. Their physical and mental endurance is limited. However, Zhang Yi completed this leap in just 6 months. His power became more profound, like an endless universe, its limits unfathomable. In combat simulations, his energy release precision has reached the atomic level, allowing him to precisely control the oscillation frequency of energy with a single thought. Especially when using the dimensional string decomposition, a skill that requires extreme precision, he can precisely cut a single hair from 3 kilometers away. At the same time, the people around Zhang Yi are also evolving in tandem. With Zhang Yi's tireless hands-on teaching and abundant resources, they have grown at an astonishing rate. Zhou Ke's superpower index has broken through to 32,000 points. The power of the immortal has been strengthened once again, and she can now treat patients directly by penetrating their lesions without the need for any surgical tools or drugs. Even terminal illnesses were easily cured by her. She can even forcibly repair the bodies of people who have just died and bring them back to life. Chapter 2462, The Essence of Superpowers. 2. For Zhang Yi, the stronger Zhou Ke's abilities are, the stronger he becomes. Because Zhou Ke's abilities can further modify his body, deep into the genetic level. His mitochondria can provide energy more powerfully, and his body's energy conversion rate is outrageously high. Telomeres in DNA sequences shorten during cell division, which is a major reason for the limitation of human lifespan. Zhou Ke has greatly alleviated this problem. Now, she can extend the lifespan of Zhang Yi and others to more than 500 years. Zhang Yi and the others became legendary immortal beings. Zhang Yi suddenly realized that as long as there was no external crisis, immortality didn't seem so difficult to achieve. Even in the future, when Liu Karen and Zhou Ke's abilities have reached a sufficient level, he can emulate the Yihan clan and create an absolutely safe alternate dimension space to spiritualize everyone. To Zhang Yi's surprise, although Fatty Su still had the same carefree attitude, his ability index had actually exceeded 30,000 points. If this were to become known to the outside world, very few people would be able to accept it. After all, in the eyes of outsiders, Fatty Su is just a cowardly and comical fat man whose actual combat ability is not particularly outstanding. It was during the conquest of the Wulwan Empire that he first demonstrated his powerful ability to freeze and control the battlefield. With an ability index of 30,000 points, he has already stepped into the threshold of a white bishop level in human. It's truly astonishing that a company among the world's strongest can squeeze into the top 3. However, Li Yongyang played an indispensable role in this process. The two communicated a lot in their daily lives, which gave Su Pengzi confidence to work hard and make progress. As for Uncle Yu, he has also changed a lot. As a cyborg, his original physical limits had already surpassed those of ordinary superhumans. Now, with the help of Zhang Yi and Liu Karen, his overall combat power has soared to 34,000 points, and he has officially entered the epsilon level in the field of superpowers. He himself joked, "These old bones of mine can finally work for a few hundred more years." Yang Xia was originally just a logistics and medical support staff member. Her superpower index has now exceeded 20,000 points. Her ability, Queen of Gourmet Food, creates food that allows the consumer to quickly recover from injuries in battle, treat mental fatigue, and even act as a military stimulant, earning her the title of Mobile Second Life Source. Yang Xia and Li Jian, two ability users, have been able to support the food supply of the entire Tianhai city. Hua Hua, this mutated tabby cat, has improved its strength faster than a human in just 6 months of training. Through constant eating, its superpower index reached 36,000 points, making it a true king of battle pets. Its gluttony ability allows it to eat centipedes like spicy snacks, and without any extra meditation or enlightenment, it can absorb energy using its stomach, causing its superpower index to rise rapidly. Even Zhang Yi sometimes felt envious of this talent. But he didn't have a mouth big enough to swallow live prey, so he could only look on in despair. Some people joked that if Hua Hua continues to eat like this, she might even rival the creator in the future. The team's mechanical master, Liu Karen, is the #1 in Huaxiu Kingdom and one of the world's top super geniuses, with an astonishing ability index of 37,000 points. This is not surprising. She was Zhang Yi's key protege because Liu Karen's improvement was due to technological advancements. Besides Zhang Yi needing all her equipment upgraded, Liu Karen also single-handedly created the most powerful violent organization in the entire Tianhai city, the Mechanical Legion. The stronger she is, the stronger Tianhai city will be overall. Liu Karen has now fully mastered the use of void transformation and can create complex material structures out of thin air. In her hands, the boundary between matter and energy is being completely blurred. In the process of manufacturing machinery, she can produce those elements that are extremely difficult to obtain in the industrial field by simply grabbing particles from the air, modifying their quark structure, and producing them out of thin air. Any rare element is no longer rare to her. She can mass-produce it completely. She also combined the technologies of 2 ancient civilizations to upgrade the weapon systems of the entire Mechanical Legion and super battleship. The Valkyrie Liangyu's superpower index has reached 35,000 points. Her ability remains the simplest and purest enhancement type, making her the queen of close-range lethality. If she gets close enough, she could even kill a night-level inhuman. What Zhang Yi needs her to do is be a protector. During the team's operations, Liang Yu and Uncle Yu were crucial in protecting the others. Shadow Mu Yan, with an ability index of 22,000 points. She was the least noticeable person on the team. Zhang Yi initially recruited her to solve the problem of him being unable to protect others during team battles. Her superpower index didn't need to be too high, but Zhang Yi still gave her some extra help, boosting her strength a bit. In this way, more people and objects can be accommodated within the shadow. After all, she wouldn't be needed for any direct combat. Among all the participants, the newcomer Li Yongyang also successfully made a breakthrough. After she broke through to the Epsilon domain, her ability index also directly broke through to 16,000 points. But that's not the part of her biggest change. In the past, the rules instilled in her by the Xinjiang region had limited her thinking. It's a hidden mental shackle that also restricts her abilities, making it difficult for her to fully unleash her potential, even with her talent. Until that day, Yang Xinxin took action herself. She pierced Li Yongyang's spiritual world with a meme arrow and used mind purification to completely erase that rule. The person who implanted the ability in Li Yangyang was just an ordinary Delta-level mental ability user from the Shengjing region. In front of Yang Xinxin, his abilities were as thin as paper and easily erased. Thus, Li Yangyang's mental will was completely unsealed. Yang Xinxin didn't need to speculate whether Li Yangyang had a problem. Once the arrow of memes is released, any problems, whether they exist or not, will disappear. Moreover, out of caution, she also planted a rule in Li Yangyang's mind. If she betrays Zhang Yi's team, she will die immediately. As for Yang Xinxin, to what extent has her strength improved? She's never been particularly interested in getting stronger because she prefers elegant strategic planning. In her view, it's very inelegant for the player to have to personally enter the game. Therefore, even though her talent was so high that she was chosen by 2 knights of the Aihen clan, she still had little interest in improving her supernatural abilities. In 6 months, he only managed to raise his ability index to 48,000 points. Chapter 2463, The Essence of Superpowers 3. The night was deep. The lights of Tianhai City flickered outside the window, like the lingering shadows of an ancient starry sea. Zhang Yi lay quietly on the bed, his consciousness gradually sinking into the boundless ocean of ether. It was a place without ups and downs, without time or space. Heaven and earth vanished, leaving only light. Hundreds of millions of white light points flowed around his body, each light a branch of destiny, the lingering echo of the soul of a being in the material world. Deep within that sea of light, there is a human-shaped ray of light, pure white and serene, as if it were eternal. That's Ling. As soon as the thought crossed Zhang Yi's mind, she came closer. Her voice remained indifferent, yet gentle, seemingly devoid of any emotion, yet capable of penetrating the soul. You've come again. Zhang Yi smiled, his voice echoing in the ethereal sea. I've discovered that I can see you whenever I close my eyes. This is because you are close to the critical point. Ling looked at him calmly, her eyes like the core of a star, reflecting endless brilliance. The ether has begun to resonate with your spirit. Your connection with the material world is weakening, while your connection with us is strengthening. Zhang Yi frowned. Are you implying that I'm about to become like you? Ling gently shook her head. No, you won't become one of us now. You are still human, unless you are willing to give up your physical body. The physical body is your spiritual anchor in the material world. Ether will devour those who have lost their spiritual anchor, but you still have attachments. Her gaze was gentle, as if she could see into the depths of his soul. Your humanity keeps you in balance. Zhang Yi was silent for a moment, then asked, Ling, I want to know, what will the future of the material world be like? I feel like danger is getting closer and closer, and you know I've always hated this. Ling gazed at him, silently. His eyes were as deep as black holes in the universe, containing endless past and future. Time is almost up. Zhang Yi's pupils contracted slightly. What's the meaning? Ling's voice was almost like a whisper of the wind, yet it carried an irresistible power. The seal placed by the Creator is being broken. The material world will usher in the true end of an era. The ancient laws are no longer stable. Those races that have been annihilated by time and those civilizations that have been banished will also return. Just as Zhang Yi was about to ask further questions, the entire ether sea suddenly trembled violently. Countless rays of light scattered in all directions, like torn threads. Ling's figure began to blur, leaving only a final whisper. Remember, after the light comes the fall. Boom. Zhang Yi suddenly woke up from his dream. A sharp pain shot through my brain, as if thousands of electric currents were coursing through my nerves. In that instant, he felt a kind of consciousness awaken in his mind. It was a will from a higher realm of the universe, cold, vast, yet terrifyingly clear. That wasn't language. The voice transcended language. It was a powerful will that descended directly into his mind. What this will express is, the seal on the material world has been officially lifted. Zhang Yi struggled to sit up, cold sweat trickling down his temples. It was still late at night outside. But the next second, he discovered that the night had become bright. The night sky over Tianhai City seemed to be covered by a curtain of light, as if it were daytime. It wasn't sunrise, but a strange light projected from the depths of the sky. The light had no temperature, yet it made people's hearts race. He walked to the window, looked up abruptly, and the sight that met his eyes made him involuntarily part his lips slightly. A huge shadow appeared in the clouds above the sky. It wasn't a cloud, nor was it the aurora borealis. It was a semi-transparent, invisible behemoth. Its silhouette stretches across the sky, as if a sleeping god is shrouding the entire earth. Hidden beneath the clouds, in this eerily bright midnight, it resembled a bird in flight and a fish in swimming, but its sheer size was astounding. Zhang Yi estimated its length to be several hundred meters. This was a creature Zhang Yi had never seen before. Without even thinking, he knew it must have originated from an ancient civilization. At that moment, Zhang Yi felt a chill run through him. He knew this was not just a visual illusion. That is a real existence. Its appearance, combined with the will that Zhang Yi had just received, made him realize something. In the material world, on Earth, the rules that restricted ancient civilizations have completely disappeared. The various races are about to begin clearing the field to make room for the arrival of the 7th generation of humans. Zhang Yi exhaled a breath of warm air. His room remained warm and comfortable, just like springtime. He walked barefoot on the wooden floor, feeling the beauty of being alive, and his belief in himself grew stronger. No matter how the world changes, I have only one goal: to eliminate anything that disturbs my peaceful life. Of course, he could also choose to run away. In any case, the old stronghold of the Wulwan Empire has been renovated in just over half a year and can be moved there at any time. The strange phenomena weren't limited to the skies above Tianhai City. Rather, it would be more accurate to say that the moment that will descended, many ancient beings that had waited for billions of years, began to descend. In the Arctic night, the sound of the wind is like shards of glass scraping against countless eardrums at the same time. The icy sea first rippled, and then it was as if an invisible giant hand was pulling the cold out of the seabed. Layers of frost climbed, multiplied, and spreading as fast as an out-of-control avalanche. The white waves were frozen in place, their crests solidified into sculptures in midair. The sea mist was frozen into a silver veil, drifting and swaying in the air. On the newly formed ice plain, naturally grown ice ridges rise up, their sharp edges reflecting light like knives. Footsteps echoed in the air ducts between those backs, like the soft, crisp sound of snowflakes crushing against each other. From the Arctic icy seas, Ice Age races emerged. Their long, silvery white hair reached their ankles. Their pupils were so light they were almost transparent, and their skin had a phosphorescent sheen like snow. Beneath their robes, their bare forearms, clearly in human skeletal proportions, were inlaid with ice-like veins, and the opening and closing of their knuckles was accompanied by tiny, crackling sounds of crystallization. They remained silent, yet an unusual tremor emanated from the air. That is ice language. If we consider the air as strings, then these creatures are plucking the coldest spectrum. At a research station left behind by humans in the Arctic, thick iron gates were instantly covered with frost buds as thick as a finger joint. In the distance, the yellow lights of the small houses in the Inuit fishing village seemed to have been touched by a cold mist, their brightness dimmed. But there was no slaughter, no pursuit, only a series of figures appearing, one huge ice ship after another emerging from beneath the icy sea, marching in formation on the brand-new icy continent, as if relocating a kingdom whose time had been frozen.
For today's chapter, tell me in the comments which part you enjoyed the most. If you love manga-style stories, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to Buzz Play Manga. See you in the next chapter with more surprises. Thank you.